Welcome to another lesson video from Bahamas Educational Express. Today, our lesson is Links with the US and Today. Learners will be able to define the terms allies, embassy, and visa, name ways the US and the Bahamas work together, explain how the links of tourism help the Bahamas. What is allies? We all are friends. We have friends, and our friends, we share secrets and we help each other. Sometimes we join together to fight an enemy. This is what we call allies. We are becoming allies. The US and the Bahamas as allies. The Bahamas has many allies. One of these is the United States of America, the USA. We do things together, we share secrets, we help each other, and sometimes we fight together. Each country has a special place called embassy in the other country. United States Embassy is in Nassau, issues visa to Bahamians so that they can travel freely to the US and other American territories. Let's look at ways that the embassy helps. The embassy help young Bahamians to study at American colleges and universities and provide special help to our government for drug detection. The embassy also help Americans who live in the Bahamas or who visits our islands as tourists. The Bahamian Embassy in the United States is in Washington, D.C. The U.S. Embassy in the Bahamas is in New Providence. The embassy is a small piece of Bahamian territory inside the USA. The Bahamian ambassador, who is in charge of the embassy, keeps the U.S. and our government informed of political events in the country. The ambassador helps the good relationship between our two nations. How do the Bahamas use tourist money? Most of the money that we spend in the Bahamas comes from tourism, and most of the tourists who come here come from the USA. The money that the tourists spend helps develop our country. The Bahamian government used the money from tourism to build roads, schools, and hospitals and to pay people who work in government. It also buys things that the country needs from other countries. Most of these goods are food, clothing, cars, for example, are imported from the USA. United States companies and banks do business in our country. This adds more money to our economy. They pay a special fee to the Bahamian government. They also train and employ Bahamian people to work in their businesses. CBI, what is it? The USA has developed a plan so that it can provide more help to Caribbean countries by offering a special trade agreement on some goods. This is called the Caribbean Basin Initiative, CBI. The Bahamas export a few things to the USA, such as fish and fish products, agriculture products, and rum. Many Bahamian people travel to the US for vacation and to shop, especially in Florida, which is the closest US state to our islands. Many people who live in Florida enjoy our Bahamian culture. Some of the festivals in Florida celebrate the music, food, craft, and dance of the Bahamas. In turn, the Bahamas has aspects of US lifestyle, such as fast food. Bahamians and Americans can share social, historical, and cultural relationship through organizations. The Bahamas US and Tourism. Perhaps the most important link that the Bahamas has with the United States is the tourist link. The link is not a new one since tourism really began in 1740s. At that time, Nassau, the capital, was known as a place where poor health could be restored. Hence, the first tourists were invalids. Tourism arrival increased with the completion of the first hotel, which is or was the Royal Victoria Hotel in 1861. The Colonial Hotel was built in the 1900s, and in the same year, the Miami Nassau Winter Steamship service started. Visitors of a different kind began to visit Nassau, mainly during the winter. These were mostly rich and famous people. Sir Stafford Stands, who was he? Tourism grew at a slow pace, but first began to look at the business in the 1950s when the late Sir Stafford Sands was put in charge of the development board. He aimed to increase the number of visitors that came and also make tourism a year round business. The British Colonial Hotel, which was the Colonial Hotel, it's on that site. Tourism grew. So Stafford Sands encouraged hoteliers to install air conditions. Gambling was made legal and casinos were built in Nassau and Freeport. These were added attractions for the tourists. Another important step to increase visitors' arrival was the massive advertising campaign that was carried out in the USA, Canada, and Europe to encourage visitors to come. In 1964, this was the year internal self government began and tourism increased. The Development Board was replaced by the Ministry of Tourism. Tourism improved through staff training, courtesy campaigns. Hotels and hoteliers got help in planning new programs. In 1967, the Progressive Liberal Party government recognized the importance of tourism to the economy of the Bahamas. From 1969 to 1979, under the Ministry or the Minister of Mr. Clement Maynard, spectacular progress in tourism based on market research was implemented. The majority of tourists that visit the Bahamas are from the United States. The largest market begin in northeast region from cities such as New York, Boston, and Philadelphia. The next largest market is found on the southern states of Atlanta, North Carolina, and Florida. The least number of visitors come from the Midwestern states such as Ohio, Nebraska, and Missouri. This tourism link is the bread and butter of our country. Now you know how tourism began and why it is important for our country.